Hey guys, Joshua Laycock here. I'm just put the kids to bed. It's another day home with a sick kid. Woke up last night with a fever and been dealing with it all day. No big deal, it just kind of part of life. I've been feeling a bit bleh lately. I don't know why. I was chewing on it today. I think as so many of us were collectors and accumulators. We accumulate so much stuff. I mean, hell, look at the books and look at all this stuff. But if you're anything like me, you might accumulate responsibilities and tasks and a bunch of other stuff that maybe doesn't serve you. Every now and then, I go through a process of purging, I should say, of simplifying, of cutting down to the essential. Lots of different things you can call it. And I do this in a variety of ways. Sometimes I'll go through my social media and just start unfollowing a bunch of stuff because the noise gets too much. Sometimes I'll look at my side table and go, how many books have I committed to read, and which ones do I not need to read, and which ones can I get rid of? I look at all my responsibilities and things that I've committed to, decide which ones stay and which ones go. I feel like I'm at a point right now where I've got a little too much going on. You know, I've built up a lot of really good habits, and I'm in a really good place in terms of getting physically stronger and taking care of myself. But, you know, I took the day off today just to take care of my son, and I slept in a little bit, didn't wake up because I was in his room with him all night making sure he was okay. And I just started to almost feel like an anxiety of not getting stuff done, of not doing my workout, of not doing my stretching, of not, you know, having the time to sit down with my books. And that's not, I mean, it's good that it's become so habitual that my mind and my brain and my body want to automatically do these things, but at the same time, it shouldn't create anxiety if you miss it for a good reason, I think. You know, and I've got a few commitments that that are always present. And I call it seeking simplicity. I just start to smooth out life a little bit and just step back and reassess everything that I've got going. And I find that I tend to do it a couple times a year just because I do naturally accumulate so many things. And that's where I'm at right now. And, you know, simple is hard. You know, in the design world, simple is challenging. Simple is probably a lot harder than complicated. And in your own life, I think simple is hard because simple to me isn't about having nothing to do. Simple isn't about ditching a lot of your responsibilities and having nothing. You know, to me that seems like hell. Coming home from work, you know, and having nothing to do. I don't like that. I don't like that outside of my 9 to 5. That's it for responsibilities. That's not, I mean, I guess to some people it's simple, but that's not what I mean. For me, simple is about finding the right balance of things that push me, things that make me better, but not to the point where it's counterproductive. I feel like I'm at the tipping point of counterproductivity right now, and it's hard to evolve when you carry so much. So it's about the right amount of weight. It's interesting, for this men's group, we're doing a rucking challenge, right? Just a loaded weight and get moving. And there's some guys who are loading on a lot of weight. And for me, the point is about finding the right amount of weight that I can carry over the long haul. I don't want to carry 40, 60, 80, 100 pounds and only be able to go a short distance, have it be a physical, burden on my back and to be worn out. Whereas I would rather carry a little bit less, just enough to make myself stronger and enough that I can carry it over the long haul. Not so much that I'm taking on too much and that I crumble under the weight of it. And that's a literal thing, but it's also a figurative thing. And it's an art finding that balance. I think you have to be able to look back and cut some stuff out from time to time. You have to be very careful about what you take on. I'm not good at that. I take on way too much. So ideally you want to make sure that you're not taking on too much in the first place. But I don't know what that edge is. So I always tend to ride that edge of enough to keep growing and enough to push myself, and then not so much that I feel like I'm going to collapse under the burden and the weight of it all. And that's, I think, a skill that you learn over time. And I think it's worth, there are people who default to one side and there are people who default to the other, and I don't think either is good. I think I would probably rather default to taking on too much and have to carve it back than risk not doing enough. But I don't know, that's just me. But anyway, I'm just kind of in a funk. And whenever I get into a bit of a funk, I always just step back and try to understand why. Maybe I'm tired. I was able to get a little bit of sleep today. My son had a bit of a nap, so I slept with him. And that helped. And I'm going to go to bed when I'm done this. It's pretty early, but I'm going to get some sleep. The holidays are behind me, so I think my diet was okay. It's not great. So I'll get that squared away. The holidays, even at work, the routine is off. And I like routine. I like coming into work and having a bunch of stuff to do. And it was kind of a little quiet over the holidays for me. And with this acquisition that's going on, there's a bit of change and routine is disrupted. So I think that's part of why I'm feeling a bit blah. But it's time for my sort of, semi-annual Seeking Simple, Finding Simple. Because when I look at my vision of my life in the future, I crave a very simple life, a challenging life, a very fulfilling life, not a lazy life, but definitely simple. No more, no less than I need. Just the right amount of everything. So I'm going to continue to take inventory of everything that I'm doing. There will likely be some changes. There are always some changes that come out of this process that I go through. And hopefully I'll get out of my funk and I'll have a good night's sleep and start my day with some exercises, a bit of a hike with my dog, and then a nice ice cold shower, and that usually kickstarts what I need. But anyway, try to find simple, right? Try to ride the edge. I think it's important. Try to take on just enough that it challenges you, but not so much that it breaks you. Ride that edge. I hope you're having a good day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.